Joe Giannetti joins me once again, this time as he gets ready to fight Roberto Yong this Saturday at Cage Titans. Joe, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. It's good to have you back on the show. It must have been a really good camp for you thus far because you guys have about 50 fighters that are getting ready to compete in the next couple of weeks at a variety of shows. So, with that being said, how do you think this camp compares to previous ones you've had?
Honestly, I think it's the best camp I've had in a while. Not just like the work ethic we're all putting in, but the diet and everything. After everything that happened in England, I jumped back on my trifecta meal plan, and the weight kind of came off, but I still have that energy and I feel really strong.
Mhm. Yeah, let's talk about that because I know that's what a lot of people are curious about where you're at right now. What is your weight? How much more you have to cut?
So I just checked my weight before I left the gym. I was 166.
166. Okay. So you're pretty much on point. You'd be able to make that last little bit here in the next day or two. What do you attribute to you missing weight over in England? Was there something specifically that you feel like was the reasoning for that?
Nothing that I did in England or like ate or drank is anything to cause it. I think it was just user error before I got the fight. I shouldn't have been walking around as heavy as I was. Um, but it was just such a giant opportunity, and they told me nobody else will fight Paddy. So I figured the only person that gets hurt if I miss weight is Paddy and my paycheck. I figure I give him some of my money and we'll go. But where I was, I knew I thought if I killed myself, I would have made the lightweight limit, and it didn't turn out that way.
And what did they tell you afterwards? Or are you still in decent standing with them? Will they have you back? Is there any chance you can fight Paddy in the future?
So it's kind of funny. So the matchmaker himself, Ian, was a hell of a guy. He was very nice, very cordial. Me and him still talk, we text. But as far as the owner, Cage Warriors, he's kind of said publicly and to me like he's kind of done with me, and I don't really blame him. Especially kind of how everything fell out at weigh-ins. Italian temper between that and cutting weight, it just wasn't very professional. Um, but I hope to fight Paddy in the future. Not so much like for anything personal, but because it would be the biggest slash easiest win in my career.
Well, what is your mindset since all of this has transpired? How are you feeling moving forward in your career?
I feel like I'm back where I started almost to the point where not people are forgetting about me, but people are kind of hating and underestimating me. And that's kind of like where I love to live.
Hmm. Well, what have you been doing since? Have you just been nose to the grindstone, work, gym, just staying focused, or have you done anything else outside of your normal routine?
I haven't done anything outside of my routine. I've planned a couple like mini like weekend getaway vacations for after this fight and after my next fight. But since then, I've been kind of taking more of a leadership role in my business and training my ass off. And like I said, I've been really focused on not just this fight, but like I said, the weight cut, the diet, feeling good in making the weight because I know I can make 55 any day of the week. It's a matter of making it safely and
Right.
being healthy when I do so.
Now I see you got it looks like a Brady shirt on. I love it. I'm a diehard Pats fan. What is your, I guess, feeling about what's going to happen this offseason? Do you think he's back for another year?
I think so. The video he posted last week, kind of the hype up video, I don't think that he's going to post that and then leave us hanging.
Yeah. Do you feel like Bill Belichick wants him back? I mean, I know you follow them just like I do. And, the whole Jimmy G thing that happened previously, I can't lie, Joe. I'm a little nervous. As a diehard Brady fan, I can't picture him in another uniform, but I'm feeling right now like it's kind of 50-50. I feel like I think he feels like Belichick doesn't respect him the way that maybe he should after all he's done.
Yeah, maybe, man. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. But like it stinks because I can't even be petty about it. If he does decide to leave, all we can do is say thanks for all the rings.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, and anyone that wants to say he's not the GOAT is a hater. So if you're out there and you're hating on Tom Brady, shame on you. Now, I always love talking to you about the UFC. There's been a few really good fights here recently, most notably Conor McGregor just rolled right through Donald Cerrone. What's your overall take on that? Do you feel like Conor is a legitimate threat to the welterweights in the top 4 or 5, or do you feel like he needs to get his butt back down to 55?
I feel like Conor is a threat to the mid to lower tier welterweights. But he's smart and he picks his opponents in a way which deceives his fans. I mean, if you think about anybody he's fought at 170, Nate Diaz and Cowboy, they're really 55ers. They're 55ers that don't cut weight. And so, Conor did it smart. He bulked up. He looked much bigger against Cowboy than he did against Nate in either fight. So he became almost a real welterweight. But somebody like Masvidal, who's very smart, took a year off himself and became a welterweight. I can see him doing good because I no longer think of him as a lightweight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, we spoke before, and you mentioned that you were going to be maybe training with Darren Till in the future. Obviously, you have your connection to AKA. Are you going to be making your way to any other gyms in the near future to get some work in?
I don't know. It depends. Like if I have any friends that want me to come out there, I know a couple of people in at what is it, Factory X, they all want me to come out there and visit. So, it's a good excuse to take my girlfriend on vacation and just slide a little bit of training in there. But for now, right now, it's just South Shore and AKA.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about South Shore because, as I mentioned in the intro, you have a plethora of great fighters getting ready to compete. Most notably, former UFC fighter Manny Bermudez is stepping in on short notice to replace Josh Grisby and fight Bruce Boyington. Two-part question. First of all, how is Manny looking, and what do you expect to transpire between Manny and Bruce come fight night?
It's funny because Manny is a lot like the Conor McGregor situation where people think of him as a 35 or 45er and he's fighting at 55. But Bruce just fought at 45. So, it's kind of just really two featherweights fighting at a heavier weight. And Manny's done the smart thing. And the second he heard that Josh was fighting, he was right alongside him, getting him ready for that fight. And then that fell through and he was in shape and he had bulked up a little bit. He'd been lifting like crazy. So Manny's not a legit 55er. He's still, in my opinion, like a featherweight. But he's bulked up enough to where I think he can do really well at 55.
Are you expecting him to put it on Bruce?
Yeah, I think that, he's a lot like Cupcakes where his whole career, you think you know how good he is. And then you're in there with him and you're like, who the hell is this? This isn't the kid I just watched.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Cupcakes, he's got a really tough opponent, a young guy, an up-and-comer, a really good record. How has Johnny been looking in camp, and what do you expect from him for the Cage Titans card that you're on?
Johnny, the thing with Johnny is you ask anybody at South Shore, like, give me one thing about Johnny. He's always getting better. And not only is he always getting better, he's getting better, like, fast. Like, I am always getting better. I'm always trying to get better. I'm a slow learner. It takes me a while of practicing things to pick it up. Like, I wasn't here for Johnny's whole career. But since I've been at South Shore Sport Fighting, since the beginning of my amateur career, he's just getting so much better so fast, and it's scary, man.
Give me one fighter that is maybe flying under the radar at South Shore that you really feel like could take that next step in 2020 and become like a household name.
Under the radar, I would probably say Brandon Fleming. He's kind of like Cupcakes and Manny, where I feel like Fleming's locally starting to pick up a little bit of hype, but the ball hasn't gotten completely rolling yet. And I think after this fight, it will.
Okay, I'm excited to see him fight. Hopefully, I'll be able to interview him here soon. I definitely have had my eyes on him as well. Let's talk about this fight with Roberto. Now, I got to imagine, Joe, this has to be a must-win fight for you. When you look at him, he's 35 years old. His record is 7-16-2. If you lose to this guy, anything can happen in a fight, as we all know. It will be detrimental to your career. So, do you feel extra pressure going in here to this fight?
No, man. As much as I like to fight guys with really good records, when they shut the door, it doesn't matter. You could be undefeated. You could have never won a fight. We've seen guys at the last Cage Titans win a fight by brutal knockout, never won before. I've learned a lot of lessons faster than a lot of my peers in this sport, and that's one of them I learned really fast. Your record really doesn't matter on fight night. It sucks, and I've said it to a couple people before, that Roberto's so much better than his record, because when I do beat him, they're going to be like, oh, he beat a 7-16 guy. And it's like, no, I beat a guy that's only lost to killers. But, they don't look that far into it. So I know the weight of this fight, and I haven't put any extra pressure on myself, and I'm just looking forward to getting the job done.
Well, his nickname is Ali. I'm not sure if that is kind of a comparison to Muhammad Ali, but if that's the case, that's a pretty darn good nickname. So we'll see what happens come fight night. What are you expecting him to try and implement against you? Do you think he's going to try and get this fight to the ground? Does he want to stand with you? What kind of a fight do you think the fans are going to see?
Like Ali, he's going to try and box me. And it's not boxing. His boxing's legit. It's really good. I've seen his MMA fights where he stands and bangs people out. I've seen him knock people out in boxing. But that's just not this sport, Like I said, when McGregor went over to boxing, it's not the same sport. It's the same way in reverse. I think, my range, my kicks, it's all different, man. I've gone with some high-level boxers, and I've gotten the better of them. And then they asked me to just box, and I'm like, what do you know? I got to go.
So, official prediction, how does this end?
First round finish, I get my hand raised.
Okay, doesn't matter whether it's a KO, submission, however it happens.
Nope. I can guarantee this. He won't see it coming.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see that. Now, you did mention you have another fight lined up. Has that been announced yet?
So nothing's lined up yet. Just some stuff I'm working on. Like, you know how it goes, especially this card. Guys always say yeah, but until they sign the contract, I don't count anything real.
So are you anticipating on fighting very soon, like maybe within the next month or so, as long as you're healthy? Or are you looking to maybe push out a little bit, like April or May?
I'm aiming for like March or April. It depends. You know, like I said, guys got to say yes. But none of that really matters, and Saturday doesn't go well. So I'm looking to get a good win to start the new year and get that hype back.
Nice. Well, Joe, always appreciate the time, my man. Best of luck this weekend. As always, before I let you go, anyone you want to thank or any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Same sponsors as always. On it for all my supplements, Receptor for my CBD. I had a nagging injury this camp, and it really helped it out. The Tim Tam recovery gun helped me too. Everybody at South Shore Sport Fighting, this has been one of the best camps I think any of us has had. Cruise Combat made me a dope pair of Dragon Ball Z shorts that I'm going to get in the mail when I get home. And then honestly, the biggest thanks, like I said, is Trifecta Meal Prep. I was using them for a while, and I kind of became a know-it-all, and I was like, oh, I'll just do the same thing on my own. Obviously, it didn't work out, but this is the best I felt day before weigh-ins. I could have made 55 if I needed to, but my opponent needed it up at 60, but I'm going to be even that much stronger. So thanks all those guys.